Viveck Vaswani, and today I have the pleasure and the privilege of interviewing the Senior Vice President of the Sun and Sand Group of Hotels, Mr. Gulshan Arora. Gulshan ji, while we were talking, while they were setting up all these little things, you told me a wonderful little anecdote about Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and the first time that he came to Bombay and he came to the Sun and Sand to meet Mr. Shashi Kapoor. Yeah, could you tell us a little bit about that on camera?
Yeah, we were making a small film we're completing 50 years of the hotels. So we wanted acknowledgement from, since this has been a Bollywood hotel, so we wanted acknowledgement from some of the stars. And of course, a lot of other stars came in like Shashi Kapoor, Rishi Kapoor, Prem Chopra, Jitendra, Rakesh Roshan, Mr. Yash Chopra. Then I spoke to Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. He says, okay, don't worry, I'll also come and say a few words. So he came there. So we interviewed him. He says, you know, Gulshan, I came to this hotel when I started when I was struggling. And first time when I came here, and I told the watchman on the gate that I want to meet Shashi Kapoor. So he says, how do you know that Shashi Kapoor? He says, no, I was told about that every Sunday, most of the film stars comes here for swimming with the family. So I want to meet Shashi Kapoor. He said, well, you can't go inside because if you're going to meet Shashi Kapoor, it's not allowed. He says, he came down from the hotel and went to the beach and stood in the beach, looked for Shashi Kapoor because he says, I was a fan of Shashi Kapoor. And my good luck to that day that Shashi Kapoor came down to the beach and
of course, they became friends and colleagues and have acted in
they did some of the wonderful films and super Kala.
That's right.
Big hits they have done together.
Mr. Devanand, God bless his soul, we always thought he'd live forever, but he expired last year. Mr. Devanand also had a permanent suite in this hotel. In fact,
Devanand stayed here about 15 years in 226 suite, suite number 226. And there's a small incident which I may mention here. His last birthday before he passes away, sad news. His son called me, he says, Uncle, Dad wants to celebrate his birthday in the same suite where he spent 15 years. I said, I'm very happy to do that. So he came in the morning, we had a cake for him, and meanwhile the press came to know that it is Dev's birthday and he's cutting a cake in Sun and Sand. So you won't believe within half an hour to 45 minutes, but all electronic channels, all print media, they were here within half an hour to 45 minutes. About 80 of them.
80 of them?
80 of them. I had to then shift the venue from his suite where he was staying down to the Jubilee room, which is our banquet hall, and he cut the cake in front of the press. There he said, gentlemen, you know, this is my home. I spent 15 years in this hotel. And I have made so many stars from this place. Tina Ambani, Zeenat Aman, and I made so many films. So this is my home. So that's Devanand's story here.
It's a fact. In fact, in the 100th year of Indian cinema, the Sun and Sand Hotel is celebrating its 50th year this year, if I'm not mistaken. And in these 50 years, the Sun and Sand Hotel has actually been synonymous with the film industry. I remember when I was making Raju Ban Gaya Gentleman, Shah Rukh Khan and me used to sit at the coffee shop of the Sun and Sand Hotel to meet our actors, to meet our technicians. In fact, this was the hub where actors, producers and directors from the film industry met, interacted and talked. Of course, one of the most important reasons why this became a hub is that your food then, as is now, was completely outstanding.
Yes.
In fact,
we maintain the standard of the food. That's why all these Bollywood and not only Bollywood, even the other regulars, they do come all the way from Kolaba to eat here. You know, there are certain signature items which are very, very popular. People still come from all the way to eat those items. We have maintained the foods over the years. There's one more director, producer, which I may mention here, Abbas Mastan.
Yes,
they have made some hit films, you know. We have a suite called 504, suite number. You won't believe it, all his films, he's written in that suite.
Really?
All his films. They take the suite for 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, during the make of the films, whenever they want to write, they come here and write in that suite, only in that suite. You offer him bigger suite, better suite. He said, no, only in 504 I will write. Maybe it's lucky for him, and it is lucky for him because most of his movie which he has written there has been hit, like Race and other movies, and now he's doing Race 2.
You see, through the years, in the first place, of course, the Sun and Sand was the first swimming pool hotel that you ever had. I think apart from
the first beach resort in India.
Beach resort.
In India. And it was the first swimming pool. And that's why everybody used to come there to swim. In fact, other day when I was talking to Sarah Bano, I said, you know, Gulshan, I learned swimming there. I used to get up in the morning. That's the time when Jungli was being made. Our first and super hit film. Since I was very new, I was very young, and I requested the management if they can open the pool for me at 6 o'clock in the morning so that before anybody else comes in, I should be allowed to learn swimming. So, is there learned swimming there? So,
but you see, what has happened is that therefore the Sun and Sand Hotel has run side by side with the film industry, sharing its joys, sharing its successes, sharing its so not just writing films here, but or interacting here.
Yes,
the Sun and Sand has actually been a venue for a lot of film shoots, because I remember when I was a kid,
a lot of films are being shot here. A lot of films.
You see, especially the pool and the diving board. I've seen that in almost every film in the 60s and 70s. So you have actually been a very film-friendly hotel.
You know, you
have supported
a restaurant called Sunset Room. If you go back and see in 60s and 70s film, a lot of Helen's item numbers were in the Sunset
Yes,
Room.
Absolutely.
That restaurant is still there. We still call it Sunset Room. We not change that. So that's what Sun and Sand is.
So, in all fairness, not just then as a venue for shootings, as a venue for our success parties, for our jubilee parties, for our 100th day celebrations as we used to have in those days, our weddings, so many weddings.
So many actors have got married.
Right.
Ramesh Sippy got married.
That's right.
Chopra got married. And so has so many others. And now their sons and grandsons are getting married.
In the same hotel. So basically, now that Hollywood and Bollywood seem to be slowly coming together, because it's becoming a global village, the world, and because of the internet and because of so many new technological advances, we're going far more farther in life. People like Hannah, who's running the South Asian Film Festival in Canada, are also preferring that the Sun and Sand be their chosen venue to sit, meet, greet, talk, interact with the Indian film fraternity, even though she's actually based in Canada. Do you see the Sun and Sand in the next 10 years playing home and host to international film people and international film celebrations as well?
I will mention here that, you know, for the last 4 years, we've been having an international film festival, and the delegates coming from all over the world have been staying in this hotel.
Really?
Yes. Hollywood's top directors, who has been the chief guest for these film festivals organized by Reliance, we were hosting it. They were staying here.
That is wonderful.
And even the celebration of 100 years of Indian cinema, it started from this hotel about 7-8 months back. They planned out the first party, the first conference, the first meeting was held here, where all the old producers and actors and directors
came
together and decided how to celebrate 100 years of Indian cinema.
That is wonderful.
I'm now hoping, because it's almost at the same time in November, when the hotel is completing 50 years and they're going to complete 100 years, to have a party and let most of these filmmakers and
carry
actors
forward in this. In fact, I see
celebrate more together.
Because, yes, I remember, because every time I meet Ramesh Sippy, every time his father, G.P. Sippy, with whom I made a whole bunch of movies, every time we had to meet in the suburbs, G.P. Sippy wouldn't think of another place. He would think that, chalo, Sun and Sand mein milte hain. So there was no question. Now there are many more hotels here. There is the Marriott and the Novotel just down the road from you. And a whole bunch of other hotels. Is your cachet or your USP getting affected in any way? Are you still the Sun and Sand?
No, it is not much affected because we are not that big. We are a small hotel and our facilities are not a very large facilities. But still, people though have been using Sun and Sand, they are loyal to Sun and Sand, they still come here. Like I tell you, Jatinder, Rakesh Roshan, Prem Chopra, Sujit Kumar.
Sujit Kumar Saab, who died. That's right. I used to meet the four of them regularly together.
They are the health club member here. They are here every evening. And even some of these parties, like 2 weeks back, I had a successful party of Ferrari Ki Sawari.
That's
then
right.
Yesterday only we had a party of
Kya super cool.
Yes.
Kya super cool.
Kya super cool hai. So all those things are still carrying on. It's not being that other hotels have come up, so we are nowhere in the picture. No. They feel Sun and Sand is Sun and Sand.
But then, in all fairness, to say it in a summation, the Sun and Sand is the Sun and Sand and will always be there for us. Not just me, but the next and the next generation.